That right there is a team of AI agents running on your desktop. Each one of them with their own name, their own job, and their own schedule that they manage without you touching anything. That's Hermes Agent. It's completely free. It runs locally on your machine. And I'm going to show you how to get this set up in under 15 minutes without a single terminal command, without paying for anything, and without the jargon that every other tutorial opens with. But before I do, there's something every other tutorial skips, and that's actually the most liked comment on this tool. This is a community project. It's not an official release from Anthropic or any of the big labs, and that really matters because it changes how you use it. I'm gonna be straight with you about what it does, where it genuinely works, and where the limits are, and then we'll get into the full setup. So Hermes Agent is a self-improving AI agent built by the Nous Research Group. At the time of me recording this video, this has about 202,000 stars on GitHub. It's extremely popular and is community driven. Now, historically, what you had to do was you had to grab this bash command, open up terminal, and then install it. But with the Hermes One agent, you can now just install a desktop app and use a graphical user interface to make this easier for you. So head over to hermes1.org. I'm using the Silicon Apple because that's a Mac that I'm using, but they have support for all these other devices. And the reason I've gone for Hermes One is because they have a million plus downloads already. It's extremely popular on GitHub too. So before I show you the installation, let me tell you exactly what Hermes Agent is. And like I said, it is an open source desktop app that runs locally on your machine. And that has a lot of advantages because the historical problem with AI agents on something like Openclaw is that it was terminal only. So running AI agents required terminal commands. You had to learn bash codes, scripts, developer docs. It wasn't really user friendly, not if you're a beginner. Like I said, it's hard to get started, and a lot of tutorials were very jargon heavy. And ultimately, the problem was that most people would give up at this point. So the fix is Hermes Agent running on your desktop app, which is Hermes One. This is a community built initiative. There's no terminal to install. All you do is name and assign your agents. You can schedule tasks. There's a virtual office like I just showed you. It runs 100% locally, and it's free and open source. And what that means for those of you watching this video is that you have your own AI virtual office. You have as many AI agents as your physical machines can handle. You can connect them up to Telegram, to WhatsApp, email, Slack, and I'll show you exactly how to do that next. You can even use it to help you with running your business, running your day-to-day life, or even helping your clients if you offer services through an agency. I'll even show you some of the ways that I'm using it, such as a competitor scanner that looks at my competitors' content. That could be YouTube, that could be Twitter X, and it sends me a Monday morning brief. And the great thing about Hermes One is that you set it up once and it runs forever. Next thing I want to show you is skills, MCPs, agents, and workflows, because this is when Hermes gets really interesting. Now on the skills, there are thousands, literally thousands of skills. Some of these are already pre-installed when you installed Hermes One. A lot of them are actually in the marketplace, and you just go through here. You can see anything with a green tick is already installed, but you can add a bunch of other ones. So some of my favorite ones are Kanban, and I'll show you exactly how that works next. But if it's not in the list, do a search for it, and I'm sure it will pop up. And since this is a community-led initiative, the skills marketplace will only get bigger. The next tab is MCPs, or Model Context Protocols. So just as I am talking to you in the English language, applications talking to each other need a common language. In the tech world, this is called a protocol, and these are all the MCPs that you can connect to inside of your Hermes agent. So some of my favorite ones are going to be Airtable. Asana's a great one. Blender if you're doing any type of motion graphics. There's Canva if you are a social media designer and you want to use agents to help you automate some of this. There's DaVinci Resolve, so for video editors out there, this is going to be a great one. 11 Labs if you want to use AI voice. There's literally thousands, and again, you can search for MCPs in the market. So agents are agents that are already pre-installed, pre-configured for a specific task. So this one here is an API designer. You've got backend engineer. If you are into DevOps, there's DevOps engineers. Instant reporting. A lot of these are quite technical, so they might not be suitable for most of you. That's fine. Go into the marketplace here and do a search. And the last tab is workflows, also known as automation. So you can actually automate a bunch of tasks inside of your Hermes desktop app, and Hermes One have made this really easy. So something like this is a bug fix, and what you can do is you can reproduce a reported bug, fix it, and add it to a regression test. There's also triages, security audits. There's a bunch of stuff in here, and there's also the marketplace where you can search for more. The next great feature is the virtual office, which I showed you at the start of this video, and this is a little bit quirky. It's a little bit fun, and it gives you a visual representation. So this is me here. I'm the CEO. I've got my own office here. And then you've got my agents, who are Aristotle, Plato, and Socrates. The more agents you have, the more desks you'll see, and you'll see this area here. If they're not working, they'll just go to the breakout lounge here that you can see on the left-hand side. One of my favorite, probably the most important feature for me in Hermes 1 is the Kanban. If you're not familiar with Kanban, it's a very simple process that you can use both in the real world and with AI agents, whereby you create a bunch of tasks, you assign it agents, you assign it a priority, and the agents take care of it themselves. And it's a very simple process, something I'm already using offline with my clients on applications like Asana and Trello. And the way it works is this. So you create a new task, it can be a to-do, it can be a triage. Once it's been picked up by your agents, they'll then move it to scheduled, ready, running, and then finished. So to create one, just click on new task. I'm just gonna say create a new code base, and just remember to be as detailed as possible because these are going to be AI agents. So they need all the information that they can get. Once you're happy with it, you then assign it a profile. Now this could be you, or it could be one of your agents. Now, since you are using AI agents, it makes sense to assign it to them. And then you can give it a priority as well. So I've assigned it to Aristotle. You can see Aristotle's picked this up. He's now running with it. And if there's any problems, he'll reach out to me either on the chat or leave me updates inside of the task. As you can see, this is a great feature. And actually, this was quite clunky in Openclaw because when they first released it, it wasn't actually integrated. And once it was, it didn't even work that well. The last of the main features is scheduling jobs, also known as cron. The way to do that is just click on create your first task, and you can do whatever you want. You can set it to minutes, hourly, daily, weekly, or even custom. So I'm gonna do one for daily backups. I'll do it weekly at 9 o'clock on a Monday. You can put a prompt in here. So if you want a specific agent to execute this task, you can do that in here. And once it's executed, you want a confirmation or notification. You can actually send that locally inside of Hermes 1, which probably isn't very useful. But the great news is Hermes 1 has built-in integrations with all your favorite messaging apps. And I'll show you how to integrate that next. So your AI agents are only going to be as good as the language models that you give them access to. And you can do that when you head over to this key symbol here, which is the provided section. So by default, out the gate, the Announce portal, which is a free subscription, you just sign up, but it's completely free, will give you NVIDIA's Nematron 3, which is fine for most things. But since it's free, it's going to get absolutely hammered by every single person using Hermes Agent. So it makes sense that you add your own keys. And Hermes 1 has made this completely simple. So you've got all the LLM providers, which are the large language models. The easiest way for you to do this is to use something like OpenRouter. If you've never used OpenRouter before, it's a great platform. It's basically a marketplace with hundreds of language models that you can access. Now, some of these are paid, some of these are free, but the point is you only need one API key, which is OpenRouters. And then you just select the language model. So once you sign up to OpenRouter, you just take the API key and you just paste it here. But they've also got access to OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. You've got Llama Cloud API, which is very similar to OpenRouter. You've got the other ones, Anthropic, which is Claude, Hugging Face as well, which has a bunch of cool tools. And there's a few others here as well. You've also got API access to external tools such as Tavily, which is web search. You've got Firecrawl, which is web scraping, and File.ai if you want to create text to image and image to video. You just grab the API keys and you paste them here. Once you do that, your AI agents will have access to these. And so you can then build up a nice profile of agents that can handle most of your tasks. On the gateway, this is the interface between Hermes 1 and your agents. If you are experiencing any problems with your installation, this is the page where you go and diagnose it, do some troubleshooting. Now, there is a doctor, quote unquote, built inside of this that can help you resolve most issues. The simplest one is just to restart the gateway. That seems to work for most of my problems. You can also regenerate the API key that you need from Nouse to run this. And this is where you set up your messaging app. So you've got Telegram, Discord, there's Slack, which is one that I'm going to integrate because I use Slack with my clients. But they also have Signal, WhatsApp, and email. For capabilities, some of these are already pre-installed, but you can also activate a lot of these. Ones that I like are web search, Twitter X search, terminal, skills, cron jobs, clarifying questions, which is a great one because don't assume that your AI agents know exactly what you're talking about. If there is any ambiguity in the tasks, clarifying questions will make sure that they do ask you questions so that all that ambiguity is gone. Under memory here, this is where you can set up your second brain. So each agent can have memory, and that just makes sure that the system, your actual agent environment understands and knows how to use each agent to the best of their abilities. You've got a user profile here as well. So tell Hermes about yourself. What's your background? Are you a coder? Are you a developer? Do you run an AI agency? Put all that in there because the output of any of the tasks that you ask it will take this into consideration. If you're on long-term memory, there are some APIs that you can install here. Now, some of these are free, some of these are paid. Either way, you're still gonna need the API key. So go over to the platforms, grab it and paste it here. My personal favorite is Super Memory. They do give you some free access to it. And lastly, under settings, you've got the update, you've got the run diagnostics and the debug dump. This is where you update Hermes 1. There's also a link to the Discord channel so you can talk to and message other Hermes 1 users. You've got connection here, so you got local, which is how I'm using it right now. If you did want to install Hermes 1 onto a remote server, like a cloud server, You can do that. You just click on remote here. You grab the URL for the remote server and the API key that's generated on your cloud subscription. There's some other tools here for appearance. I've left mine on dark, as you can see. And for everything else, you can just leave it as default. There's also an export, import. This is very useful. And I suggest that you schedule a job for this. Just let one of your agents handle this every night at midnight, just so that you have a backup of this. So that's Hermes 1 in a nutshell. And if you're not sure how to get started, I do have a link to my AI workflow kit in the description. If this video helped you, please smash the like button. It genuinely helps more people like you find this video. And once you have Hermes 1 installed and you'd like some business use cases, watch the next video on screen and I'll show you 15 of the best use cases that I'm currently using right now, both for my business and for my clients. Thank you so much if you made it this far, and I'll see you when the next video drops.